Look at John chapter 14 verse 9. Jesus said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. And now sayest thou then, show us the Father. John 14:6. See the way Jesus will speak for himself. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So Jesus is absolute. I believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. You cannot be a Christian if you don't believe that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. You can speak in tongues. You can receive miracles. You can be a pastor. You can even be an elder, a deacon, or an apostle, or a church worker. But if you do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Yahweh of the Old Testament, then you are not a Christian. Brother Paul says in 1 Timothy 3:16, and without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up unto glory. The way King James put it can be confusing. That word without controversy is an old idiom expression of a word. That means this is our great confession. This is what we commonly believe. This is Christianity. Without controversy is an idiom which means this is our great confession. This is what we commonly believe. This is Christianity, or this is what ties all of us together as Christians, that God is manifest in human flesh. That's why Christianity is called the Great Confession. This is what we commonly believe, or this is the Great Confession, or our creed. The mystery of godliness. Godliness means how we see God. The Greek word eusebia. How we see God. God was made manifest in the flesh. The word confession is not primarily speaking. It has the speaking part, but here it means the great conviction or the great persuasion. That's why it is called homologio in the Greek. You know, they removed the word God. If you look at the origin, the people that have those Bibles, you will know why they removed the word God. Because they do not believe that Jesus is God. Such people is what the Bible calls Antichrist. Because Antichrist is not a person. Antichrist is a teaching that denies the deity of Christ or the humanity of Christ. So there are Bibles that did that in certain denominations. Now, in the Greek, that word, the source, is a pronoun. It cannot be godliness that was manifest in the flesh. If they say he was manifest in the flesh, then he has to be the reason we have godliness. If they say he was manifest in the flesh, then he has to be the reason why we have godliness. So this is our great confession. God was made manifest. The word manifest means visible. In the Greek, it means to be naked. That is, nothing left to be known. Manifest, visible, naked, or nothing left to be known about God. He is made manifest in the flesh. Paul said, this is our common conviction. 1 Timothy 3:16. Pay attention. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. 1 Timothy 4:1 now. Now, the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith. Which faith? That God is manifest in the flesh. Some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits, and doctrines of devils. That is, they will depart from this truth that our God is manifest in the flesh, or that Christology is our theology. They will depart from the truth that God was manifest in the flesh. In other words, our doctrine is the doctrine of Jesus Christ. Our doctrine is the doctrine of Jesus Christ. What do I mean by Jesus Christ? Christ is the Old Testament promise of the Messiah. Christ is the Old Testament promise of the Messiah. Jesus is the one who fulfills it. That's our doctrine. Jesus Christ, who is a historical figure in the four Gospels, who came to the world. That is the Christ. That is the fulfillment of the promise in the Old Testament. That is God in man. God in man. Paul says, when we preach this, Jews think we are sinning. They think we are making an error, because to them it's an offense. To the intellectuals, when we preach that our God was manifest in human flesh, they think it is foolishness. But to us that are saved, it is the power of God. Paul says that the wisdom of God is foolishness to man. And the power of God is weakness to man. Because Jesus of the four Gospels looked weak to be called God. What amazes them is that Jesus is God. Because God, in the mind of an ordinary person, has to be a tyrant. But Jesus looks weak to them. He looks weak because how can you say God and people killed him? Yeah, but that is where the strength of God is. He died to prove his love towards us. When we believe it, we are saved. Jesus is God. When I believe that, I take it to the Old Testament and I begin to see the power of God. Not in death, but in life. Not in destruction, but in restoration. The power of God in the resurrection. And the four Gospels are very clear. If you have contradictions before, which really doesn't exist, but even then, the four Gospels should have cleared all your contradictions about God. Because Jesus was abused by people. Jesus was called names. Jesus was ridiculed. And no one was harmed by that. No one was harmed by that. Do you believe in Jesus? It's an important question. Do you believe in Jesus? Because if you believe in Jesus, then you believe in God. Then you believe in God. If you believe in Jesus, then you believe in God. Look at John 14:1. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Faith in Christ is faith in God. Faith in Christ is faith in God. Many have faith in the devil, and they think the devil is like too powerful. So they just have faith in the devil. But when you know Jesus, then the devil suddenly is not a prayer point. So you don't ask questions, is God good? Is God not good? Look at Jesus. Jesus is the definition of God in practical terms. Jesus is God. I take the light of Jesus and I walk in that light.